Have you noticed if you ever log into Twitter, as an example? So there's an extra delay that you don't know how long it's going to take. It's between 2 and 3 seconds, where the number of new notifications on Twitter you have. So why is that there? Well, it makes that into what's called a variable schedule reward. It's like a slot machine. So you're playing the slot machine, and there's a time delay, and in that time delay, your anticipation's building, and then you get to see how many notifications I get. And so you become more addicted to checking it again the next time. I call it the race to the bottom of the brainstem to, get people's attention at all costs. Or take the CEO of Netflix recently said that the biggest competitors to Netflix are probably YouTube, Facebook, and sleep. Meaning
Sleep.
Because at the end of the day, there's a finite amount of time people have, and if you're not getting people's time, someone else, some other app, or some other part of someone's life is going to get it. So these services are in competition with where we would want to spend our time, whether that's our sleep or with our friends. There's this war going on to get as much attention as possible.
Kevin Systerman, Instagram, it's all of these people understood this consciously, and we did it anyway.
That culture is missing here. So part of what we're trying to do to achieve those goals is take really big, audacious points of view on the world and then train ourselves to be patient. And it's really, really hard. The entire society is set up to not be patient anymore. Consumer internet businesses are about exploiting psychology. And that is one where you want to fail fast because people are unpredictable, and so we want to psychologically figure out how to manipulate you as fast as possible and then give you back that dopamine hit. We did that brilliantly at Facebook. Instagram has done it, WhatsApp has done it, Snapchat has done it, Twitter has done it. So there are great examples. WeChat is doing it. There are great examples of failing fast is the right path to exploiting psychology of mass populations of people.
At Stanford, there was a class called the Persuasive Technology Design class, and there's a whole lab at Stanford that teaches students how to apply persuasive psychology principles into technology to persuade people to use products in a certain way. So it's not about giving you all this freedom, it's about sucking you in to take your time.
I think the tools that have been created today are starting to erode the social fabric of how society works. And what I meant by that is the following thing. Today we live in a world now where it is easy to confuse truth and popularity. And you can use money to amplify whatever you believe and get people to believe that what is popular is now truthful and what is not popular may not be truthful.
When Facebook was getting going, I had these people who would come up to me and they would say, I'm not on social media. And I would say, okay, you will be. And then they would say, no, I value my real life interactions. I value the moment. I value presence, and I value intimacy. And I would say, well, you're a conscientious objector. That's okay. You don't have to participate, but we'll get you eventually. and I don't know if I really understood the consequences of what I was saying. Because the unintended consequences of a network when it grows to 1 billion or 2 billion people, and it literally changes your relationship with society, with each other, with it probably interferes with productivity in weird ways. God only knows what it's doing to our children's brains.
We know for a fact that what all of these systems do, every single one, is it exploits our own natural tendencies in human beings to get and want feedback. And that feedback, chemically speaking, is the release of dopamine in your brain. And so what these feedback loops do, and they exist everywhere, in Call of Duty, in other video games, in social networking sites, they get you to react.
And that means that we need to sort of give you a little dopamine hit every once in a while because someone liked or commented on a photo or a post or whatever. And that's going to get you to contribute more content, and that's going to get you, more likes and comments. I mean, it's a social validation feedback loop that it's like it's exactly the kind of thing that a hacker like myself would come up with, because you're exploiting a vulnerability in human psychology.
It literally is a point now where I think we have created tools that are ripping apart the social fabric of how society works.
And when that happens, it feels like parts of my life are slipping away. Specifically, it feels like little bits of my time get slipped away to various things like this, like technology. I check things. I'll give you an example. If this email shows up, how many of you have gotten an email like this, right? I've been tagged in a photo. When this appears, I can't help but click on it right now, right? Because like, what if it's a bad photo? So I have to click it right now. But I'm not just going to click see photo. What I'm actually going to do is spend the next 20 minutes. But the worst part is that I know that this is what's going to happen. And even knowing that that's what's going to happen doesn't stop me from doing it again the next time. You know, or I find myself in a situation like this, where I check my email and I pull down to refresh, right? But the thing is that in like 60 seconds later, I'll pull down to refresh again. Like, why am I doing this, right? This doesn't make any sense. But I'll give you a hint why this is happening. What do you think makes more money in the United States than movies, game parks, and baseball combined? Slot machines. How can slot machines make all this money when we play with such small amounts of money? We play with coins. How is this possible? Well, the thing is, my phone is a slot machine. Every time I check my phone, I'm playing the slot machine to see what am I going to get? What am I going to get? Every time I check my email, I'm playing the slot machine to say, what am I going to get? Every time I scroll a news feed, I'm playing the slot machine to see what am I going to get next, right?
And we compound the problem, right? We curate our lives around this perceived sense of perfection because we get rewarded in these short-term signals, hearts, likes, thumbs up, and we conflate that with value and we conflate it with truth. And instead what it really is fake, brittle popularity that's short-term and that leaves you even more, and admit it, vacant and empty before you did it. Because then it forces you into this vicious cycle where you're like, what's the next thing I need to do now? Because I need it back. Think about that compounded by 2 billion people. And then think about how people react then to the perceptions of others. It's really bad.
There's a reason that every notification on your phone is red. That is a color that stimulates excitement in the brain. Las Vegas has known this forever. There are bright red flashing neon lights everywhere trying to get your attention. You're constantly stimulated. That's why people just love Vegas. They go crazy. They start gambling.
And the worst thing is the computer. You know, all this Facebook, just get off Facebook. I'm giving you good advice. Get off Facebook. Get a life. Live with people. Visit your relatives. Have tea with real human beings. Don't spend time with people that you don't know, or these distant people in some far corner of the earth, and you don't know your neighbors, you don't know the people around you. Really, it's a very weird time.
Ibn Mas'ud said, I said to the Prophet, هل للساعة من علم تعرف به? Does the hour have a knowledge that you can know it by? He said, Na'am, ya Ibn Mas'ud. And Muslims have to know these signs so they recognize them when they see them. And there are many signs. تعرض الفتن على القلوب كالحصير. And the Prophet said that the fitan will be shown to the hearts like a mat. عودا عودا. It has 2 lines, a horizontal and vertical line. This is the TV set. This is the set. It's a hasir. It's a mat. And the Prophet said, the fitan will be shown to the hearts like a mat. Kal hasir. These are signs. Ya ibn Mas'ud, inna min alam as-sa'ati wa asharatiha an tuwasil al-atbaq wa an tuqta' al-arham. This to me is one of the clear prophetic miracles of the Prophet ﷺ. He said, "Tuwasal al-atbaq," that the dishes will be communicating continuously, and the Prophet used the very word that's used for satellite communications, muwasalat, and people will sever their family ties. In other words, people will stay home and watch television on satellite dish, and they won't go visit their neighbors. This is an amazing hadith to me. يا ابن مسعود إن من علامة الساعة وأشراطها أن تظهر المعازف, that musical instruments will be widespread. يعزف على رؤوسهم بالمعازف. Musical instruments will be on their heads. How did he know about that? That's what it says. I didn't make that up. It says they'll have ma'azif, على رؤوسهم ma'azif. On their heads are musical instruments. Who would have thought that, who would have known what that meant at the time of our Prophet ﷺ? But now we see it, all these people everywhere.